defeated who we thought was King Allant, but it was actually a false king, a demon who'd been made to take on his likeness. I just loaded the game up and I've been spawned here outside the boss chamber. So we might as well go and check on Bjor. The dragon might be dead now. One would expect, and now Bjor's going to try and kill us. Bjor? I heard something. That was already there, so... Right. Yeah, wasn't expecting to be here, but I thought I might as well check. Something moving around. Right, I hope we can still get in the boss room, otherwise we'll have to traipse back to an archstone. We'll put on our full heavy armor again when we get back to the Nexus. Come on guys, another king's gone, but keep working. We look fully evil Imlerith now. But yeah, I don't think he was necessarily that tough of a boss fight, it was more my build would struggle against it, which again plays into the idea that you do need to adapt quite a bit more, I feel like, to the bosses here, compared to, I don't know. You know, in terms of setup, in general setup and approach. I wonder if Bjor shows up here. Doesn't look like it. So his body wasn't anywhere down by the dragons. Can we get a nice view of Boletaria? Something's like sparkling like a crystal lizard. Right, let's head back to the Nexus. So he's with the old one. Let's see what's happened. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go back in the last video. But what about the broken archstone?
I can forge weapons for you. Deep inside Stonefang, my bones. What's the hurry? Have you any manners?
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried sick. If only I knew how to fight.
Right, let's get our normal armor back.
We are indebted.
Maybe we should keep the assassin set on us in case we need to do it again. Or... No. I shan't. So did we get the sword? No, we didn't.
Hark, I hear a voice of yore. The old one calls for thee. Let us proceed below to its lair.
Okay. She sounded awfully calm about this.
Old one, I have granted thy wish. A new demon. Come now, be good.
I don't want to be a demon, thanks. I guess, yeah, she's here to keep whatever cycle is going on here going, right? Right, I would like to level up.
Let us proceed below to its lair. Let us proceed below to its...
Right, I'm just going to go back to the Nexus to see if she reappears there. You know, and then we can level up. I don't want to run around with this amount of souls. No, she's just gone. Oh man, I've got 140,000 souls. And what about this archstone? I'm so curious. Was this DLC? Is there like an expansion option?
No, don't mention it. I reckon they left behind some fine armor.
Okay, nothing to say about the giant hole in the ground. Good to know. Should I spend some of this in case I die?
Fine.
Let's just top off our grass then.
Sick.
About it, really. Get rid of any excess weight.
We are indebted to you.
Okay, I guess no one has anything to say about the giant hole in the ground. Let's go and talk to the monumental then. I imagine he might be complicit in a lot of this. Maybe there's a PvP element in this on this particular floor. So we're not trying to destroy the old one. We're trying to preserve him. Kind of gives, you know, some of the ideas that were put forward in Elden Ring, I guess, about sort of worlds being built on top of each other. Maybe that's sort of what's going on here. Like going down to the old one there. Maybe that is the previous cycle's world that he is in.
You have destroyed all of the demons. You soon shall hear the call of the Old One. Then the Candle Maiden shall guide you below the Nexus, where the Old One awaits. She will lull the Old One back to slumber. That is, after all, her purpose. You have destroyed.
Let's have a little cursory look. Still locked, still shut. Yeah, I can't get past that broken archstone. What is that? Maybe that's to do with PvP or something? I don't know. Yeah, might be. Maybe it's like a dueling arena or something. I don't know if this game had one. I could turn the online function back on for a little bit, but I just don't want it to spoil anything. Like I said in the first video, I really like a lot of the what's the word for it? The seamless multiplayer elements, right? Where the multiplayer stuff is sort of integrated into the worldcraft and the invasions and stuff, but I just don't like all the messages and the phantoms because I think that they spoil things. Right, well I can't spend my souls, so... But she looks like she is a boss fight. Wandering around down there. Let's just have a little look around though. Hopefully I don't die unnecessarily. Can't imagine we're going to find any bodies or anything. Or creatures back here. But... yeah, this is an old world. It's been destroyed and flattened. Bit similar to the Dark Souls 3 ending in the DLC, right? I'm spoiling things by saying stuff like that. You don't know what I mean anyway. I mean the visual look of it. I'm not actually saying what happens. I'm just working under the presumption everyone else has played all of these games. So maybe I should mention the other Souls games. It's a bit late for that. But yeah, the whole, you know, ashen, like, desert look. Sand prints, always satisfying. I guess we could technically kill the maiden.
Let us precede the Lord to its lair.
So this is just a vessel for the old one, or this is the old one? Like a wooden sandworm from Dune. Lousy twigs.
You have been chosen by the Old One. Will you seek the everlasting demon souls? Or has the monumental blinded you? Whatever your choice, you are our first visitor. May you be welcome here.
I've had a thought about maybe we should go and see the old king who gave us Demon Brant in Boletaria. I just feel like that he might have something to say to us. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, to be fair. I just want to see if he has something to say or to give us, because we could get... Because we haven't been given that sword, have we? We haven't been given Soulbrand. I suppose he wasn't the real king, so... Sorry to jump around like this. I know I'm risking it a lot, but this is the opening area, so hopefully we'll be okay here with this many souls. I feel like I should be able to just hop over the edge here, but... Oh, I have got a load of keys now. I can't remember if this was locked or not. Still have no idea how to get in there. We should be okay up here anyway. Yeah, I just want to check in with the old king. Your piddly crossbow does nothing. Right, how arrogant are we going to be with the Red Knight? With 150 grand. Oh, fucking hell. No, he still does a fair whack of damage. Oh, okay. Who are you? Is that just going to happen all over the castle? What the hell, man? Tis I. Mate, come on. Do I have to kill this guy to get the sword? That is massively annoying. I just thought he'd have something to say after we killed the false king, you know? Something I always try, like I always go to say, there's a quote from an episode of the IT Crowd. It's just, just won't make any sense if you've not watched it, but it's just, yeah. God damn these electric sex pants. Oh god. Just when things are going wrong and you don't know why, basically. That makes no sense out of context. Alright, let's go to the old one. I guess we're gonna have to make a choice. I've got 150,000 souls, man. I've had 3 levels stolen from me.
Let us proceed forward.
She's taking on a bit of a sinister sound now. The lighting hasn't quite adjusted in here.
You have been chosen by the Old One. Will you seek the everlasting demon souls? Or has the monumental blinded you? Whatever your choice, you are our first visitor. May you be welcome here.
Don't make me fight King Allant with 150k souls.
Surely you have seen for yourself the pain and suffering that fills this world. But God is merciful, and so created the Old One. Poison to the poison. The Old One will feed upon our souls and put an end to this tragedy.
Can I just leave him here? He cuts a bit of a sad figure. I don't really want to do this to you, man. Is this the fate that awaits us? I mean, he's holding Soulbrand, right? Let's put him out of his misery.
You fool! Don't you understand? No one wishes to go on.
So I'm a fool? Could I have saved him?
Thy work is done. Slayer of demons, go back above. The Nexus shall imprison thee no longer. I shall lull the Old One back to slumber. The Old One and I shall slumber evermore, as it should be.
Okay.
Thou mayst go. Be gone to thy world. My thanks. At last. At last. The end is in sight.
There's going to be a bit of a twist here.
The Old One, along with the maiden, was swept back into the lulling fog. Boletaria was spared from the demons, but also lost its knowledge of the soul arts. The souls lost during the pandemonium were never retrieved. And today, the unstable world has another monumental to hold its fabric together. A brave new hero of unprecedented power.
I genuinely didn't think that was going to be the end. Huh. I guess you could have maybe, I don't know, if you would have maybe killed the Firekeeper. I think that would have resulted in you having to maybe defeat the Old One and then all the souls would have been restored, perhaps. Okay, it's definitely a shorter experience than pretty much every other Souls game, right? I mean, obviously I can't compare it to the original, but they've done a great job. They didn't, from the feel of it, they didn't change much. It was a gorgeous game, right? I mean, could you justify giving this kind of treatment to Bloodborne? Memory of Takashi Kaji? Yeah, still don't know what that final archstone was for. I feel like I've missed out on a secret area, perhaps. Should I Google it? The 6th archstone? I guess when you finish the game, I guess that's the point where you want to see if you've missed anything. Oh, right. Right, so there's nothing there. Fair enough. It was supposed to be the land of the giants, but it was taken by the fog. Just from doing a quick search. Fair enough. Couldn't maybe finish doing that part of the game in time? Yeah, one of you told me that the final boss in Latria is supposed to be a PvP fight, which is why it was a bit rubbish. I didn't fight a dragon. I guess we could go and try and take down the blue and red ones at that specific part. Don't know what happened to Bior. Never found that assassin. Yeah. It's a great experience. It's been really fun for me, particularly just to see the origins of everything. Not everything, but so much of the art design that is carried through their games for the past 15 years, right? In all of them, really. You know, Latria and Bloodborne, you know, that whole vibe, the look and feel of it was so similar. Obviously, Bloodborne has massively expanded beyond just what that was, but that's the clear art direction that they were experimenting with there. And then the more traditional sort of castle-y, medieval fantasy look that the rest of the game has. That was more carried into Bloodborne, probably. Sorry, into Dark Souls and into Elden Ring. Yeah. But yeah, there was some awesome music. There was most of the boss fights had like a cool aesthetic and spectacle, but in terms of like challenge, I suppose, what did I struggle with the most? Probably King Allant and the Dragon God, probably, right? I just couldn't get the hang of the Dragon God. But yeah, what the rest of it was reasonably straightforward, particularly with using. I think using the defensive build definitely helped in a lot of the boss fights. You know, the spider fight definitely benefited from being a bit tankier and blocking things because you move so slowly there. The Tower Knight definitely benefited there because I feel like I don't know, but I feel like you would have got pretty close to being one-shot killed in the Tower Knight fight if you would have tried to time dodging so much. Might have been difficult to fight the old hero as well if you were primarily focused on dodging. So I think that the tanky build was definitely maybe a safe bet for me, but I enjoyed it so much in Elden Ring, and like remembering back to playing through like Dark Souls 1 as a katana build with only with dexterity, and I'd two-handing it and not blocking anything. I just remember how much more difficult that made the general experience of the game, particularly in some of the levels, right? Like where there's a tight walkway. If you couldn't block or be like or have poise, like some like corridor encounters and stairwells become so challenging because you just end up rolling off the edge. Like I remember I did that so many times in Blighttown when I played the original Dark Souls so many years ago. And I think that, yeah, the tankiness and the shield make some of those interactions so much, a lot more manageable. Like, if you imagine that run to the False King boss fight, you know, with that guy on the stairs, if you had to dodge roll, I know you can sort of roll into people, but you end up falling off a few times. Yeah, the structure of the game is a bit different. I think that to get like the optimal challenging experience, you'd probably need to do like the first level bit of every area, and then the second bit, and then the third bit of each one. Maybe to get a bit of a tighter experience in terms of difficulty. Is that our character? No, that's Garl. Yes, we killed him and took his armor. Sorry, Garl. God. But I feel like there was maybe something else I could have done with King Allant there at the end. I'm not sure. Difficult to say. He called us a fool, and you know there was obviously some sort of choice. I guess that I think it would have meant killing the maiden. That's sort of been a theme in most of the other games, I feel. Where like the person who sort of guides you and levels you up, you can choose to sort of betray them at the end. And I think that would have maybe resulted in us starting the world anew. Or maybe it would have resulted in us like letting the old one take over, maybe. But yeah, the old one themselves seemed like more of an entity, like rather than a thing. No, sorry, you know, like a force rather than a creature. Which, when you have something that's meant to be so all-powerful, I guess that tends to make a lot more sense as a concept, I think. But yeah, they did such a good job making the game look like a current generation title, right? And the mechanics, I guess it speaks to the competence of the mechanical design of the game, that's all pretty much the same, and it still feels good, right? It still feels heavy and weighty and intentional with your movements and your actions. You know, so things that so many games struggle to get right. That feeling of, particularly, you know, when you're wearing armor and everything, that feel of heft. I suppose the only mechanical thing that looks out of place would be the rolls, I guess. When you think about, when you think like compared to like Bloodborne, I think that the dodging without a roll, just visually, I think it looks a lot better. I think when you're rolling around, you know, with a big sword or anything really, I don't think it quite looks right. So I think it would be nice if they made the Souls series and Elden Ring have that style of dodge like you had in Sekiro and Bloodborne. I know you can still do a roll in Bloodborne when you're not locked on, but that quick dodge where you still stood up, I just think visually, I think it looks better. And you know, so many games use that dodge roll, right? I don't know. It just never looks like, you know, like in The Witcher 3, you know, when you do a big roll and you've got like two sword sheaths on your back. It just doesn't quite look right, does it? But... So what's going to happen now? We've got her soul.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel.
Are we immediately put into New Game Plus?
Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world
Pretty
might
much.
be mended. So the world might be mended. This is the Nexus. It holds together the northern land of Boletaria. Thou canst not quit the Nexus, but the 5 archstones will guide thee to the outer lands.
You can't be serious. I still have to die to level up. Okay. Right, guys. Well, that has been Demon Souls. Also, a Demon Souls remake, remastered. Yeah, really cool experience. Not quite as challenging as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I mean, I think that the story definitely had a bit, for the most part, had a bit more clarity than a lot of the other Souls games, which I think that their sort of general story is a very similar theme, but I think that they try to make it. I think they've tried to make it more and more mysterious as the games have gone on, because it is quite a basic premise, I think. Whereas I feel like this had quite a you know, a more straightforward, not straightforward in a reductive way, straightforward in just a, I don't know. I think it felt a bit better as a story, to be honest, because it just didn't feel like they were trying to make it difficult to understand. When, like, I think that a lot of the other Souls games, in terms of the plot, are quite straightforward to understand, but they just kind of shroud it in a way. In a way that's not always too enjoyable to try and piece together, I feel. Whereas I feel like it was a bit nicer here, actually. I think that the one thing I was maybe hoping for, that was maybe a bit I shouldn't have really hoped for, that I wanted it to be a bit more, the exploration to be a bit more like Dark Souls was. I think that's the one thing that makes Dark Souls stand out so far above, I think, probably any of the other Souls games, is just the exploration and the fact that there's no fast travel. I think that obviously this was maybe restricted by the fact it was on the PS3, so they couldn't have areas that were so open and vast. So it had to be a little bit more walled off in levels, and they still had some of those elements because, you know, you only got fast travel points from boss fights, so the rest of the areas you had to navigate based on your knowledge, but you were still fast traveling back to the hub area. And I still think that is what I think makes Dark Souls probably elevates it just above most of the other medieval Souls games. So, you know, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Demon Souls, and Elden Ring. I think that's what elevates the Dark Souls 1 above, is that just that feeling of being lost and being a small little knight or magician or whatever build in this area that you can't just teleport away from. I think that is what I enjoyed so much about Dark Souls 1, and you know, just that feeling of finding a bonfire and just being, you've got no Estus left, your weapon's broken, you're on your knees, and then you finally scramble your way to the bonfire. And I think you get that in Bloodborne to a degree. Obviously, they put you still get the lamps at boss fights in Bloodborne, and it's a little bit more leveled off because it's similar to here, how you're in a hub area and you teleport to each region. But I think that because the areas in Bloodborne are quite vast, you do get a slice of that original Dark Souls feeling. But yeah, I don't think Dark Souls 2, 3, or Elden Ring capture that, and that feeling. I really hope that they try and do that again, because it's just what made it. It felt fair though. It didn't feel like it was just a cheap, way of making the game more difficult. I thought it was so well balanced, right? Where like your choice of locomotion just mattered, right? And this game has some of that, but not as much of it, because of the the fact that it's sort of level based rather than just a massive vertical and horizontal like slab that you are winding your way around. I have a few sort of cut off areas, right, and extra bits, but yeah, it's all here. Like this, these are the foundations of the whole series. Tighter selection of weapons and armor and stuff. But I don't know what the dev cycle was like for this. Maybe it was quite a tight dev cycle. Maybe this was them sort of proving that they had the chops, right? And then they sort of branched out on their own and created their own. They created their own genre essentially, right? I know that they've picked bits and pieces from other genres to bleed into this, but they created their own genre. Souls-like is now like a genre of a video game, right? You see it tagged on things. And yeah, this is where it all started for the most part. I know there's King's Field and other earlier games, but yeah, it's been great. Let me know if there's maybe some other areas that I've missed, but I don't really think so. There's only that area right at the start that I'd have no idea how to get to. I imagine you need to run past the dragons to get there. Maybe I should go back to Latria to do the PvP boss fight. Something like that. But I need to die, right, for the maiden to appear, and then I'll suspend these souls. So that's just a bit harsh. A bit harsh. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed it. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more challenging, to be honest. But like I said in a few videos ago, I think a lot of people's like most challenging Souls game is always going to be their first. I think so many of the tropes and mechanics and scenarios, once you've experienced them once, you can sort of carry that experience into the other games. I think that's why I enjoy it. Like I've said, I think what I would like from software to do is just not do sequels or honorary sequels like Elden Ring anymore. I would like them to just do something new, pick a new aesthetic, a new style, so that you can go into these games without a bit of experience. Because I think that my experience like playing Dark Souls like 1 and 2 before playing Bloodborne didn't necessarily help me that much. Same for Sekiro. Like they had their own design that felt fresh, and I got that sort of original feeling of playing Dark Souls 1 in those games, where it was tough, it was grueling, I had to learn and adapt and play in a new way. So I'd like them to do that again, and maybe sort of leave the medieval genre behind, unless they massively change the mechanics. So yeah, that's been Demon's Souls remastered on the PS5. A great experience. I just wish I had all the other Souls games to play on the channel, but I don't. I'd already played them, so yeah. We're going to be... What am I doing next? So next we'll probably tackle one of the Rainworld characters from Downpour, Psychonauts, and God of War Ragnarok. I can't remember what order I'm doing them in. But those are the next 3 things coming up. Rain World should be quite short, a few days doing that. Psychonauts, I don't know if I'm going to do Psychonauts 1 and 2 together, I might space them out. And then Ragnarok, so yeah, hope you've enjoyed this series, guys. Please leave me a like if you did, and just remember everyone, never trust an on crate. See you next time.